Göran, you're the Vice President with responsibility for budgets, spokesman on budgets in fact. €6 billion seems like a very small amount given the size of the problem, but also a very small amount compared with the amount that was made available to bail out the banks. Is it enough?
It is a small sum and it cannot solve the problem, but it can be very important, particularly for two reasons. First of all, we want to front load this sum, use most of it during the first years, and then it becomes actually substantial. Of course, the idea is that then there will be a midterm review of the long-term budget, so we hope at least that we will get more money in the end also for the last years. But using it only for the first years means that it per year will be relatively much. The second thing is, of course, this is only complementary to what the member states can do themselves, but it can be extremely important, I think, for reinforcing things that poorer member states otherwise will have difficulties in doing, but also in being innovative, finding new ways of dealing with youth unemployment. So yes, I think it can be important, even if the sum as such is not enough.
If this is to work, it's important that it starts on the 1st of January 2014, but it won't if the multi-annual framework, the budget for the next 7 years, isn't agreed. What happens next?
Well, of course, I mean, we're trying everything we can to make it happen, to make a deal before the end of the year. It would be, I think, a big problem if we cannot find a solution to this, particularly for this reason. We really need some money which is there to start to be used from the 1st of January. If that doesn't happen, well, then we're in a budget crisis in the European Union, and that will hit most of all the young unemployed. So I really hope that we can find a deal, but we have some tough things to solve, and we will not give in when it comes to finding the appropriate resources for fighting unemployment and particularly for youth.
If not enough is done or it doesn't work, is there a risk that young people, young voters, especially those who don't have jobs, are going to think of the EU as nothing more than a club for rich men, for big business people and for big companies?
This is exactly the criticism we have against the member states, the Commission, etc. They have done everything for bailing out banks, etc., but they are doing much too little when it comes to the really big problems of unemployment, of social injustice, etc. Europe needs jobs and growth, but that also means we need to put the resources in for investments that do create jobs and growth. And finally, frankly, this is one of the big problems in Europe. Not in Europe, not just the banking crisis, but we invest too little. We invest too little for the future in research, education, infrastructure, green jobs, etc. We need to change that, and that's one of the most important political demands from the social democrats of Europe.